So here we are in beautiful North Carolina at my home, and we are going to do a little test. This is a tri-field meter model 100XE. It is a artificial EMF detector. Artificial meaning versus a natural EMF detector, which I also have. And so I got both so I could test the output of appliances in my home, general EMF radiation, stuff like cell phones, Wi-Fi, and all that kind of good stuff. And then the natural one for geopathic stress, ley lines, and all that kind of stuff. So, artificial meter would be used for reading things like cell phones and smart meters, like I mentioned, or appliances, stovetop, your refrigerator, and you can see how far the electromagnetic field is radiating, and you can see to what degree, what intensity the magnetic and electrical fields are there. Sorry, I'm quite sick in the moment, so I'm not going to be talking as smoothly or thinking as clearly as I otherwise might, but we're going to go through with this video regardless, because it doesn't really matter what I say, because I have a meter and this is cold hard numbers. Now, we're going to turn it on. You can see the battery is just fine. Now we're going to set it to the 0 to 100 magnetic range. The 0 to 3 would be for detecting really weak magnetics, but we're going to turn it to the 0 to 100. As you can see from the meter, is now on. It's picking up the standard, which is about, well, we can set it to the 3 just to get a really clear idea of where our center point is. You can see it's a little over 2, almost 2.5, kind of back and forth between 2.3, 2.5, and that seems to be the general standard quote-unquote neutral point, which in itself is a little worrisome because this is an artificial meter, which basically means we're being surrounded by them all the time, but that is still within the normal range. Oh, and if you see that spike right there, that was because my cell phone is getting close to it. And actually, since we're here, we can, get a little closer to it, closer to it, closer to it, and you'll see it doesn't really move. I'll put it up like this and get the phone closer to the detection point, and go all around it. The point of doing this is to show that cell phones actually, as they're sitting, don't really give off that much EMF. What happens is, through detecting, I have found that what happens is that they actually give off these sort of pulses. I'm not 100% what causes the pulses. Sometimes when I turn my phone on, like if it goes from sleeping to turn back on, it'll do like some really serious spikes, and those spikes can go up really, really high, to the 50, 70 range. I'd be curious to see what happens when I get an incoming call. Text messages don't seem to make it go up. But for the most part, and it should be noted that I'm using a Samsung Note 4, which from my understanding is one of the lower EMF phones. But, the point that was brought up was that my phone is going to be significantly worse than a smart meter is going to be. And I guess a phone is in your pocket, but you don't have to keep it in your pocket, nor do you have to put it up to your head, nor is it really emitting that much of a blast, except for these pulses that occur for some reason I'm not really sure of. And I'm going to try to get one of these pulses on camera, but as you can see, it's really not doing much of anything, and with the phone being right on top of it, you should be getting some sort of detection, but it's really not moving beyond the neutral point. In fact, it doesn't really move at all. Now we're gonna go down here. Oh, I guess I'll hold it this way. We go down here, and we're gonna test a few things out. First of all is the cable box, which you can see goes pretty high, and depending on where we're standing, actually it's pretty terrible. This is giving off about 150, what is it? I'm sorry. It's a 0 to 100 milligauss. So we're reading, 5 right here, up to 20. I'm trying to see what the actual source of the really high reading is. If we go right on these power lines right here, it seems to get higher as we go up and up and up and up the wall. We got up to, about 20, which isn't great. Now, for the smart meter, let's see, we get a reading about 6, and if we go up to the smart meter, the screen, I don't know my smart meters well enough to know the different parts. I'm just recording what I see. I'm not making any claims about anything. Like I said, I don't really need to. We're getting a number reading, and then from there, we can see where it goes. All right, so here we get up to 15. Let's see if there's any almost up to 30 here, 25, 30. You can see it does pulse a bit. Whatever this thing on the side of the power meter is pretty inert. This line that comes up from the power meter is coming in at 30 at its most, and that line is the line that goes up into the house. So the power meter itself right there, but again, I wish I could take the cover off, but they seem to have locked us out. I guess that's what they do so that nobody else can get in there. I bet you if we could open it up, we'd find some interesting things. 15. Yeah, so my highest readings are actually coming from this thing, this pipe that comes up from the power meter. I'm sure it's not the Lemon Behold furniture polisher that's giving us those readings. So, oh, wait. It did just spike. I'm not sure what caused that. I don't know, I don't know if it sends out pulses also. I did notice actually there seems to be a signal when it's looking for the usage throughout the house. There seems to be these pulses that get sent out. Somebody can inform me of what that might be. If it's detecting the other smart devices in the house, giving data feedback, sending it out to home base, whatever it might be. But you can see getting further and further away from it, and it starts dropping down. But anything in the immediate area, it definitely wouldn't be good to stand too close to these things. And I went upstairs in the house where this pipe was going up, and against the wall, and in those areas it definitely reads higher. Actually, you can see now, if it'll focus, that we're reading at 50, 70, yeah, between 50, almost 60. That's really, really, really high on this scale, and that's in the pipe that's going up to the house. So those lines are going somewhere, and they're obviously connected to other things. So like I said, I don't know about smart meters to the extent to be able to analyze this whole thing in full detail, but at least now we have some sort of starting basis so that we can have a discussion on the subject. Thanks.